Well, the good news is there were only 3 of us on the boat. That's made for about 20 divers. Bad news is that's because we were there in late January with about 20 to 30 mile an hour wind, overcast, and cool temperatures. But nonetheless, we're going diving. We don't get down there that much, so we're going to take advantage of it when we can, and the boat was willing to go out. So here we are. This is our second dive of the day. The first dive was on Hammerhead Reef, and the second dive is on Barracuda. A beautiful little reef, but let's talk about where it's right there. Okay, got it? Good. Okay, it's right off of Fort Lauderdale, about 800 yards offshore. It is part of the second reef of the 3 reefs that are bordering the lower part of Florida. The Barracuda Reef is about 20 to 30 feet deep, and it has just excellent nooks and crannies for fish. And in our case this time, we were looking for lionfish and lobster, our 2 favorite things to do while we're diving. Now, we flew down this time. Normally, I'll drive down with my truck and meet my wife at the airport, and I'll have all my gear. But we flew down, so we didn't have everything we normally have. Like in this case, I did not have a Zookeeper to contain any lionfish that we caught. And we'll see in a bit how I went ahead and used my lobster bag to take care of the lionfish. And I'll show you that when we get to that point. I also didn't have room for my green lobster snare, so I cut down a tickle stick and brought a net, was planning on using them. But the folks on the Sea Experience charter were nice enough to let me borrow one of their green snares. So I appreciate that very much. Hey, by the way, I'm Ted Hendy, and this is my channel, Enjoying Retirement. I'm glad you're watching. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to show you a little bit of the dive here so you get a sense of what it's like. Plenty of fish. Oh, and look at that. That is a good looking conch right there. But we're going to leave that alone and keep going. But a lot of French grunts you can see. But look at all those nooks and crannies. Boy, oh boy. What a great place for lobster and lionfish to hang out. And it didn't take long. We had already had 1 lionfish and 1 lobster from the previous dive. Oh, look at this guy. I've never seen one of these guys before. That is a yellow stingray. He's only about 14 inches side by side. Really cute little thing. But don't pet him. He still has a venomous barb at the base of his tail. Well, that was fun. There we go. There are some pork fish, I believe they're called. And we are still looking. I have my flashlight looking in the nooks and crannies, trying to help my wife find some lionfish. They just love hanging out underneath overhangs. I like to think of them as bats. The guides on the Sea Experience were fantastic as always. They help point out both lobster and lionfish, and I appreciate their help. Now we're drifting along here. There's a decent current. It's not too awfully strong, but it's strong enough that it was difficult to stay in place when we were trying to either snare lobster or shoot some lionfish. You'll see that in a moment. But it was just beautiful. Up close, visibility was really good. Probably 20 or 30 feet, a little bit more. So it wasn't bad at all. There's my first lobster. Did you see that before? I zoomed in on it to make it easier to see. This is my first lobster on this dive. The guide got one, I got one on the first dive, now we're on the second dive. I'm going to let this play in real time. Not, to show how bad I was, though I was. But you can see there, I had to kind of hang on to keep the current from blowing me past him. And this guy has played this rodeo before. He has his tail tucked up underneath him. And he knows that as long as he does that, there's not much I can do. But I'm not giving up. I can tell by his size, and I've had enough experience now to know that he's a keeper. But boy, was I having a hard time getting this guy out and raising his tail. He just did not want to come. There he goes. All right, let's try again. Nope, see that? He's still tucking his tail. There he goes again. All right, so at this time I'm thinking he's backed himself into a hole. So the snare isn't working too well for me. So I'm going to try to reach in behind him and grab his tail and pull him out that way. But he's got a back door. There he goes. Look how fast those guys can move. Fortunately, like I said, the water clarity was good enough. I just got to watch him. And there he is. Oh, he didn't tuck his tail this time. He must have something else to think about besides me. Take a look. See if you can find out what it is. In the meantime, I'm going to go underneath him and do the snare. There it is. I got my lobster. Did you see what he was nervous about? Look what's blocking his hole. That's about a 4 to 5 foot nurse shark right there, just snoozing the morning away. So that lobster was stuck between me and a shark. And I'm thankful that he chose me. But then, well, got to see the shark there. The guy's going to touch it, make him wiggle a little bit. Yeah, those nurse sharks. They're just big puppy dogs. All right, let's keep on going. Shining. Oh, there it is. There's a lionfish. Did you see that? They don't show themselves too awfully well, so you gotta look for their feathery fins that they have. That's why they're called lionfish, because it's reminiscent of a lion's mane. As you can see, my wife is going to have to hold on to the rock to try to get some stability. Oh, she moved a little bit with the current there. That's okay. It didn't go far, and she's got it. Push it in the sand. Try to keep it up a little bit. Ah, look at that smooth trunk fish there. He's just kind of watching, wondering, hey, what's going on? All right. Now, this is video from my first dive. As I told you, I did not have my Zookeeper, but I did have my lobster bag. You do not want to put a lionfish in a lobster bag. They will sting you. Those beautiful feathery spines, they are not something you want to touch. So, hey, he may be venomous, he may be something that's come in, he's taken over the reef, but he still deserves to be treated humanely. So I used my dive knife and I brained him. Now he's dead, so I'm going to now use my shears and I'm going to cut off those venomous spines. They're located on the anal fins, pectoral fins, and along his back, or so I hope. So I'm going to get them off, but I'm going to try to leave the other ones in place. Hope I got them all. Sorry for the bad film, but when I dove in on the first dive, it turned out that the orientation of the camera was vertical. But I wanted to show you this. I didn't get to film on the other one that she shot. So there you have it. All right. Let's move on. We're going to be done here. I'm not going to bore you too much with the entire dive. Hour-long drift. It was just a lot of fun. See that right there in the middle? Those are a couple of the fins of the feathery fins of a lionfish. You really have to be paying attention and look up under those rocks. As I said, hey, they just seem like bats hanging out up there upside down. So my wife's going to come in. One thing to notice about the Barracuda Reef, they have this long cable that stretches over everything, and if you have anything dangling, it's easy to get caught up. And I think that's what happened to my wife. I think her surface buoy got caught up, and it kind of threw her off a little bit, and that with the current was enough. So we had a good time. About 45, 50-minute dive there. We're coming up. As you can see, the sea is a little bit rough. That's why there were only 3 guests on the boat today. And here they come. They're going to come pick us up. Now, as I mentioned before, I did not have my truck, so that means I also did not have my portable barbecue that I would usually deal with these guys on. So we have to get creative. Fortunately, our hotel room has a microwave. So we are going to microwave our lobster tail and hope for the best. I'm using the shears that I cut the fins off the lionfish and my dive knife Yep, let's go ahead and sanitize it. Oh, perfect. It's perfectly clean now. And just going to separate the meat a little bit so that I can butterfly it. Guess what? Since I wasn't traveling with my full gear, I had to use my scuba mask to get this film. Yeah, I look stupid, but hey, it works. That's a pretty good view, isn't it? All right, so I got that open. I sliced down the meat a little bit, and then we're just going to butterfly that open. My wife's going to come over, and we are going to put some butter in there. We found some butter at the store that was already put together with seasonings and garlic. But first, some salt and pepper. And now we're just going to put a pat of butter in that opening. Now, I wasn't real sure how microwave lobster was going to come out. But went on YouTube. Gotta love YouTube. Going to cover that up. And we're going to do 2 minutes. And then we're going to check it to see if it's about done. 2 minutes are up. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. The bigger one still doesn't look totally white. I think the little guy is almost there, but we're going to give him another 30 seconds and see what happens. Well, as it turns out, 2.5 minutes was perfect for the little guy, and we gave the other guy another 30 seconds, and he was done like a champ. I had some leftover shrimp and rice from a meal we had at a restaurant. My wife made some ceviche out of the lionfish she got. And there we are. There you go. Microwave lobster, leftover rice, and some lionfish ceviche. What a great trip. Hey, hope you enjoyed that. And as always, I am enjoying retirement. Thanks for watching. Bye.